All right, in this video, I think it's going to be one of two or three. We're going to do kind of a brief review of the order of operations. So maybe you've heard of it as PEMDAS, or the acronym Please Excuse My Dear Aunt Sally. Or maybe you've heard it referred to as GEMDAS, and the G instead of P standing for grouping. So grouping, parentheses, brackets, or maybe something inside of a function. So you may have seen it either referred to as PEMDAS or GEMDAS. PEMDAS is going to be much more common, though. And this is just the order of operations for simplifying some sort of math expressions, and we want a consistent way so that we're able to communicate effectively. We're not getting two different answers for the same problem. That's gonna be bad, especially if we're doing your payroll and I have a formula for you and somebody else, and I do a different order of operations, so they get paid more than you, or vice versa. So we want to make sure that we have a consistent way of doing the math operations. So first you want to do the parentheses or the grouping, then the exponents, then multiplication and division in order from left to right. And so you got to be a little bit careful. Often what happens is we do the multiplication first, just period, but you want to make sure it's multiplication and division. They're on the same level from left to right, and then likewise addition and subtraction in order from left to right. Okay, so I'm just going to have our little chart here of PEMDAS there, and we're going to work through a couple of problems. So probably do 3 or 4 in this video, and then we'll stop and we'll do another one. Okay, so we're just going to simplify this expression. So simplify here. Maybe they might use the word evaluate, and it just means to go through and see if you can get this down into a just a numerical result, for example. Just that's what we mean to simplify. Follow what they're asking us to do. All right. So there is some parentheses here. But you don't see anything inside the parentheses, so you don't see 2 plus 7 or something like that, and then you would combine that to be 9. You only have a single number in there, and so this right here, this is what's called implied multiplication. Okay, and so. You don't see explicitly the multiplication dot, or sometimes you see the X for multiplication. So just the way we've written it means we mean multiplication. So all of that is multiplication there, the 4 times the negative 6 times the 2. So the first thing we want to do is we want to do the exponents. Okay, so there's not really any grouping to do here. So 2 squared is going to be 2 times 2, which is going to be 4. So we're going to have 4 minus 4 times negative 6 times 2. Okay. So we've done the exponents, and now we're going to be looking to do multiplication and division in order from left to right. So we won't do anything with the 4 right now. I'm going to leave the minus sign there. There are other ways of doing this, but I'm going to multiply these two together, the 4 and the negative 6. So it's going to make negative 24. And I'm going to put parentheses there just so I don't have this weirdness with the double negatives there, and it just makes it cleaner to read. You could write it as 4 minus negative 24, but it's just, I think it's better to read it this way. Okay, and then times 2. Okay, we got a little bit more multiplication to do here, so this is going to be 4 minus, and then we're going to multiply negative 4 and 2, so it's going to make a negative 48. All right, and now we're subtracting a negative, so that's a good thing. So the subtraction of a negative, that's a good thing, so the negatives are going to absorb. And so we're going to be left with 4 plus 48, and now we perform the addition, and this is going to be 52. Okay. All right, let's work on 2 or 3 more. Okay. All right, so here we want to simplify 9 minus the 6 times the quantity 11 plus 5. So a common mistake I see with something like this is students will do the 9 minus 6 and get 3, and the problem is they didn't do the parentheses and they didn't do the multiplication. They did the subtraction first. Okay, so we don't want to do that. You got to be careful. I don't want to do that right now. Sorry. didn't want to paste anything in here. Okay, so we're going to do the parentheses first, so or the grouping here. So 11 plus 5 is going to be 16. So this is going to be 9 minus, and then 6 times 16. You could think of that as 6 times 10 plus 6. Okay, and you could distribute. So that'd be 60 plus 36. So this would be if we we didn't have access to a calculator. Then that would be 96. Okay, so you have 9 minus 96. So you have $9. You want to buy something that costs $96. You're going to have to borrow $87 in order to purchase that, finance, whatever. Okay. All right. Well, let's look at another one. A little bit more complicated. Here we have 3 times the quantity, -4 minus 2, and then -4 times the quantity, 1 minus -9, excuse me. So here we're going to do the parentheses or the grouping first. So you're going to have the 3 out, and -4 minus 2, okay, it's going to be -6. So if you owe $4 and you're going to buy something that costs $2, you're going to need to borrow another $2, so that's a total debt of 6. -4 times the quantity. We got a double negative here, so we're subtracting -9, so that becomes a +9, so we get 1 plus 9. Okay. We got a little bit more parentheses to do, and actually, terms are separated. So terms are separated by addition or subtraction. And so we could actually work out each piece separately. So 3 times -6 is -18, and we'll just leave it there. -4 times 1 plus 9 will be 10. Do your multiplication. It's going to be -18 minus 40. Okay. So we owe $18. We want to buy something that costs $40. We're going to have to borrow $40, and so our debt is going to add up to be 58. Okay. All right. Let's look at one more for this video. And let's go ahead and simplify 2 times the quantity, -1 minus 5, and then that quantity is squared, and then -8. So again, we're going to do the parentheses first. So 2 times the quantity. So -1 minus 5 is going to be -6. Let's square that. -8. Then we're going to do the exponent. So we got to be a little bit careful. -6 squared is going to be -6 times -6. So negative times a negative is going to be a positive. So this is going to be positive 36. So this is going to be 2 times 36 minus 8. So 2 times 36 is going to be 72 minus 8. And that's going to be 64. All right. And stay tuned for the next